Well, there's not much of a spin guy, you know, to try to make you guys feel better about how we finish, because you know what, I don't feel very good about it either. My staff doesn't, you know, my athletes don't. You know, we don't like being done coaching on Friday night, national tournament. We want to be out there coaching, you know, Saturday afternoon and Saturday night, you know, ultimately. A lot to build on though, and that's, you know, what I told the guys that went to the national tournament. We have all those 3 guys coming back. We have a lot to build on, but a lot depends on what we do, you know, these next 5-6 months. Are we going to continue to improve and get better, or are we going to stand where we're at? So if we stay where we're at, then we're going to continue to get the same results. If we go and get back to work and you know, try to cover the ground that, you know, we're behind right now, then we'll be a lot better team this next season. You know, I kind of looking at our guys' performances. You know, Loader was just a little bit tight, and then all of a sudden, you know, after he lost that match, you saw him change a little bit, and he actually grew up in that tournament. It was a really good thing to see, because if you ever watch him wrestle, he's kind of always looking over at the coaches, always like unsure of himself. And those last 3 matches that he wrestled, he didn't hardly look over at all. He had a plan, he knew what he was going to do, and he went out and tried to execute it. So that, to me, that's very important to see that he grew up in that tournament, and you're going to see a different guy, I think, next season. You know, to have a freshman get to the round of 12, to have a freshman who was seeded 6 coming into the tournament, you know, that's pretty good, and that's a lot to build on, because we have him back for the next 3 years. But you know, he grew up. I mean, that's what I can say, and that's a positive. And you know, you're going to see a different guy next year, because I think he knows that he's right there with those guys. He beat the 3rd place finisher and the 6th place finisher this year, and he was right in the match with everybody else that he wrestled. So you know, we got to get him to make a jump though on his feet. Same thing with Bonet. You know, he lost to the guy that placed 2nd, the guy that placed 8th. So he's not losing to guys that aren't very good. He's losing to some of the best guys, but you know, we got to make a jump to be able to beat those best guys. And the way that we're going to do it is to get back to work. And you know, I put that on me, I put that on our coaching staff, and I put that on our guys. We got to have motivated guys who aren't content with where they're at, who feel like I feel, my coaching staff feels right now, that a little bit unfulfilled, actually a lot unfulfilled. You know what? It's not very fun sitting up there watching. It's not very fun to have 5.5 team points, 46th place. That's not what we're about. And there's one way for us to change that, and that's to get back to work and to get guys, I guess, on board 100%. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out where these guys are at. I guess any questions? I know that I'm looking forward to next year, because, you know, 5.5 points. I got it. I'm going to put it up on my wall. I'm going to frame that little. There's a little score sheet that they send out at the end. I'm going to frame it up on my wall. The 5.5 points, 46th place. It's going to motivate me every day to make sure that we're held a lot more notches up above that next season.
Could you tell us a little bit about the 12-10, the decision against Duke? Did he get caught?
No, he didn't get caught. He just, it was the worst match he wrestled all year. If you want my assessment of it, it was probably the worst match that he wrestled all year. You know, he got taken down right away, and he's in on a shot, and then he got taken down again. He panicked a little bit. Instead of, like I said before, he was unsure of himself going out there. You know, first time in the national tournament, you know, maybe a little bit unsure, question yourself, and those next 3 matches, it wasn't the same guy out there. It was a different type of, just how his focus was, and that's good. And that's good, and he's got to be able to use that for the next season, but just some really bad shots. Really bad shots, and gave up easy scores, and just was like in a haze. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it. The guy kind of looked like he was just in a fog and out of it. And sometimes, you know, guys, they'll go out there and they'll give up that first score, and then all of a sudden they'll snap back into it. It didn't happen that match for one reason or another. He still had chances to win it. He just didn't finish his shots. And the good thing is, you know, he came back and won a couple matches. It wasn't like he just went back and felt sorry for himself and didn't try to wrestle back in the tournament. You know, he beat 2 good guys and was in a tight match with, you know, the kid from Wisconsin. So at least he responded. You know, he didn't sit there and sulk and feel sorry for himself. So that's a good thing.
After your first year as head coach, where do you feel like you've been able to take the program these last 12 months?
We've gotten better. We've gotten better in certain positions. I mean, the bottom, we've gotten a lot better. You know, and I think the Iowa meet, we got ridden like 17 minutes maybe, something like that. You know, and it got less and less as the season went. So we've definitely gotten better in certain positions in certain areas. You know, I think the guys are going to know what to expect next year, and the guys that like what's going on and like the direction they're going, they're going to be more bought in, and the guys that aren't, you know, maybe won't be here anymore. You know, and that's okay, because we want to move forward with the guys who are motivated and want to be here. I know that for myself, I've evaluated myself, my staff, and you know, moving forward, there's some things that we have to do better. I mean, there's no doubt, and we will do them better, because you know, I mean, I don't feel, like I said, I don't feel very good. I don't feel good with where we're at right now as far as how we perform. Do I feel good with having motivated guys who are bought in? Yeah, but I mean, I want more of them. You know, it's an evaluation period right now for me. I got a whole list of things written out, you know, for as far as delegating things, as far as things that we need to do better, and now it's time to implement them and get them in. You know, I mean, a lot of it's a learn on the fly a little bit, learn about our guys, just because a lot of guys I didn't know. I mean, I hadn't even seen some of these guys wrestle, so we have a much better idea, you know, moving forward on the areas that we need to hone in on these guys to make them better. And we'll do it. I mean, I'll be in there this afternoon, getting back to work. So, I mean, that's how I was born and raised, and to not be feel sorry for yourself when you're disappointed, but to get back to work and try to not make sure that it doesn't happen again.
You indicated that you were going to sign 4 or 5 wrestlers, and you were going to be getting some more in the room. Can you speak in general terms? I know you can't talk specifically about how recruiting's going.
There's good interest, but you know, I mean, I'm sure they'd be more interested if we had had 3 guys on the stand too. You know, so part of that depends on us, but a lot of it just depends on, you know, I mean, we've built a good relationship with a lot of these athletes. You know, we've talked to them for a long time. They're going to be coming in on visits these next couple weekends, and the early signing, or I guess the late signings, April 15th. So we'll know a lot in this next couple weeks about who else we're going to bring in, and we need to. You know, we got 6 guys signed in the fall, and we need to bring 6 to 10 more guys in. You know, that's a huge turnover in the room, and that's you know, guys knowing it one way. You know, and I have a better idea about these guys already because I've been in their house, I've seen their rooms, I know their families. You know, I know how many brothers and sisters are. That I know their dogs' names. I know those things about these kids, and I got a lot better understanding. And you know, it helps us learn how to get them, or learn how to get them to tick. You know, and get them to respond. So we're still working, and we'll work hard this spring to bring in quite a few more guys. I got some money, not just to spend it, but I got some money to spend on some impact guys that can come into our program and you know, be wrestling Saturday night in the national tournament.
Is that the biggest change you want to see, to get guys that are more of your mindset, that are able to buy into what you're preaching to them?
Well, I mean, I spent some time kind of looking at the guys who were in the national finals and, you know, where they came from, and, you know, it's not like some of these guys are just, you know, coming out of thin air. You know, I mean, they have some good wrestling background. You know, they've won quite a bit coming up, or they've competed hard. You know, and that's kind of what I've been looking for, is guys who compete the right way, who train the right way, they take care of school, you know, they live their right lifestyle. And I guess that's the biggest thing, is guys buying into the lifestyle and not just, you know, the season. During the season, I'm going to do things right. When I'm out of season, then I'm going to do whatever I want. You know, there's no off season. That's what people, someone asked my wife, I guess, the other day, you know, what happens now? What are you guys going to do? And she's like, well, it goes back to work. They do the same thing that he's been doing all season, you know. So I mean, that's just how we take it. It's at 365 days, and it's about making the right choices on and off the mat. And when they do that, then it means more, and they don't want to give up in certain situations because they put so much effort, energy into it, or they've given up so much to be at that point. You know, when you haven't given up much and you haven't sacrificed much, it's a little bit easier to be okay with not reaching your goals. And we want guys that they're gonna fight and kick and scratch and claw, and they're gonna do everything they can right, and then they're gonna go out and compete their hearts out. And if they win, they win. But at least it wasn't because it was something that they didn't do right, or that they knew that they needed to do right, but they decided not to because it was uncomfortable for them. So makes sense to you. It makes sense to me, and that's all that matters.
After your first year as a Division I head coach, what kind of letter grade would you give yourself as a head coach?
I'll let you guys do that. I'll grade myself. Well, I'm a pretty tough grader, so I give us very average because of how we finished. You know, we definitely make gains throughout the season, but you know, we go to our conference tournament and you know we have 6 in the finals and only 3 get to the national tournament, and then you know we have a guy go 3-2, a 2-2, and an 0-2 at the national tournament. So you know, if I'm looking at our last about 20 matches, I think we've won about 8 of them. So you know, we got to finish stronger. But like I said, there's a whole evaluation. I have a whole log. I mean, from when I started the job, I got a log of every workout, of everything that we've done. You know, you go back and you evaluate and you figure out what little tweaks you need to make. And I know that we have the right standard. I know that we're preaching the right things to the guys. Now it's just getting the guys to do it and to believe in it. And the guys that went to the national tournament, I know they do. But they talk to me, but I just said, let's see it, and let's do it, and let's act it. And then when we come to this meeting next year at this time, I'll have a lot bigger smile on my face. And even if we had 10 guys in the national tournament and 10 All-Americans, I'd probably still find something to complain about, just because that's how I coach. You know, you're always looking for perfection and getting the most out of your athletes. And that's what we look forward to doing this spring and summer and fall. And you know, we definitely appreciate all the support, and we hope that people are excited again about UNI wrestling and look forward to this next season. And you know, we'll make another season ticket drive, and we'll try to get 2,000 this year, so Schofield actually has to wrestle Collie. That's still up. That's good for any season, every season, until we actually get it. Even though he's shaking his head back there, but I know I look forward to the future, and like I said, knowing these guys a little bit better, I know we can tap into them, get more out of them, and I know that you guys look forward to it too. Any other questions? Thanks again for all the support, and we'll see you in the West Gym next fall. Thank you.